Welcome to Your Fit Story TV, the only platform that is focused on storytelling and personal branding for fit pros. Our mission is to provide fitness professionals that are trying to build and scale their business with valuable insights into how others have done it by sharing their fit story.
Oh, I love that fucking intro still. And today we have an incredible guest, another incredible guest, Will Nelson. And he's been turning fitness professionals into six-figure earners for some time now. So, Will, how are you doing, bro?
I'm great, my man. Doing awesome. It is, I don't even know what day it is. Wednesday. Got my coffee, ready to go.
Oh, there you
Good
go,
man.
brother. I'm super excited for this Your Fit Story episode, man. And like I've said before on other episodes, it's very difficult to start off with the generic questions of kind of like tell us a bit about yourself, because it's just impossible. You'd end up just giving everybody everything in a 5-minute thing, right? So what we'd really love to do is actually dive into some backstory, right? Some of the parts of your life that you experienced way before you even found fitness. Like for some people, they were, kind of born into it and through their family and things. And others, like myself, have come from drug addicted backgrounds and changed and moved into it. But what was it for you? What was the story like from your earliest memory all the way up just until fitness became the thing for you, man?
Jeez. Well, first, thanks for having me on, guys.
So welcome.
So it's a crazy story, man. From an early age, my dad had that entrepreneurial spirit. So my dad actually opened a pizza shop when I was 5-6 years old. And really that's where that entrepreneurial spirit or that drive fire came from. And where I started to get the entrepreneurial spirit is watching my dad just every day put in the work and literally start this business from scratch. And, one of the things that was amazing is he put me to work from an early age. And I'm so glad that he did that. And one of the things that we did on a continual basis was, before social media and before marketing and all this amazing stuff that we have now, it was old school guerrilla marketing. And as a kid, I was 5-6 years old, outside my dad's window, and we would drive through the neighborhoods at like 6 a.m. and I would flyer cars or flyer mailboxes, right? And as a reward, I'd get like a piece of candy or something like that. So to me, unintentionally, here I am as this little kid, like learning entrepreneurship, learning hustle, learning marketing, and just getting the word out there. And I was in that environment from such an early age on. And I don't think a lot of kids or children get to see that. And what's amazing about the opportunity that I had was literally seeing my dad work his butt off 50, 60, 70 hours a week to create the life for my family, right? And I don't think a lot of people see that in the entrepreneurial space. They just see mom, dad go to 9-to-5 job, come home, do the same thing. But that was something incredible for me to see from an early age on. Long story short, though, unfortunately, my dad's entrepreneurial journey got cut short. There was a lot of things that didn't go the way that we planned it. And this happens sometimes, that we ended up going bankrupt, which was super hard for me as a child at, I think I was 6 or 8, maybe 10 at the time, watching my family go bankrupt. Here you are seeing your dad put all this effort, this time into his business. This is his baby, and to see it fail. And what it ended up happening is, over the next 6-8 months, maybe even a year, I went through a really challenging time as a child that I even still psychologically today am dealing with certain issues that you just don't think about. So when it comes to money, for example, when you watch your parents go bankrupt, right? And watching my mom literally cry every night and not know why or what or how to help, like it's tough. So this is something even today that I'm even dealing with psychologically from a mental thing, that no matter how much money I make or how successful I am in helping fitness professionals, that deep down inside, I'm always going to have like these little bit of insecurities, right?
It's like ingrained, right? It's in there.
And it's tough to overcome. And because I was raised that, like, I just saw it as a child. Like here, no matter how hard you work, sometimes things don't go the way that you want them to, right? And just seeing them struggle and seeing how much it affected me is something that I want to make sure when I become a parent or when I do get married, that doesn't happen. And even though I know my parents did everything they could, right, deep down, like my dad was doing everything to put, money, food, everything, I'm still going to have those insecurities about money. Right. And it's tough to deal with, but just kind of seeing their entrepreneurial journey and seeing my dad overcome it has kind of helped me to overcome some of those obstacles. Does that make sense?
Gotcha. Yeah, 100%. And again, I'm really glad that you actually just brought that up, because those deep ingrained things that happen in our past, the experiences that we go through, they actually do in some way form our beliefs, right? About also, it's our worldview, our beliefs about our worldview. And I can actually relate to what you just said in a different context, around when my brother had murdered someone and we were, lives were just fucking torn apart. And I remember when I was young and we would get called a murderer in the street. Like literally people would spray paint on the house and call us murderers. And that label, that thing, that experience, it stuck with me for so many years. Even when I was older and 18 years after the fucking thing happened, I still found it very difficult to share initially, because I thought that people were going to call me a murderer again. So I thought that it was all going to resurface. And I suppose that's similar to you, like where you saw it happen, you may have this kind of like underlying ingrained belief that, hold on, this could happen. This could happen. Yeah. And that's a hard thing to deal with, man.
And it definitely, it's something that over the last 6-8 years that I've been dealing with, because if I don't keep that under control and learn how to manage my emotions, then it will negatively affect the people around me.
Yeah, 1,000,000%.
Because they're like, you're doing really well. I don't get it. Right. They don't see it because they just see outside. They see, materialistic things. They see finance. They're like, you're doing well. Why do you feel like, and I'm like, it's just something that I feel like all of a sudden overnight things could just blow up, right? Just because of things that have happened in the past, that I'm dealing with that issue that they're not, and things are great, but internally I'm just like, oh my God, what happens if things just all of a sudden I go bankrupt tomorrow and I don't know, right?
And I guess when you were a kid as well, like you had like you said, no understanding as to why. Like you, as a kid, you don't, do you? You don't know what business is. You don't know what we use the smart words today, but and like the guerrilla market, we all understand what it means. But as a kid, you have no clue. No clue. So what was actually, if you don't mind talking about it, what was the reason for the bankruptcy? So like, obviously you're older now, you understand it. So
what had happened was my dad wanted to spend more time with his family, right? So being that guy, he wanted to have a business that was more sustainable and jump into a career. So my dad is actually a firefighter now. And that was what he wanted to do. He wanted to have, a steady income, steady salary, and not have to worry about the ebbs and flows of being an entrepreneur, because he wanted to make sure that he could support his family. What had happened is we tried or were selling it to some guy who pretty much royally effed us over. And what had happened is this guy pretty much ran the entire business into the ground within like 30 to 60 days. Wow. Filed bankruptcy himself. And what had happened is these creditors and all these other people started coming after us and were suing us because we were liable for it.
Wow.
So there was a lot of like internal legal issues that were going on where we pretty much got royally screwed, and everybody started coming after us. We started getting letters in the mail, you owe this much. We're suing you. We're suing you. We're suing you. Hundreds of thousands of dollars that you're just like, okay, like we have no other choice. Right.
Fuck.
So my dad, there was times, I didn't know what my dad was going to do with this guy. Right. Because here's this guy that completely ruined our life. And my dad was like, pretty much given, I was worried that I didn't know what my dad was going to do. Right. Just from a physical standpoint, like I was scared that my dad might like physically threaten this guy or go after him. He pretty much ruined our family. Right. So here I am as this kid, like, I don't know what's going on. My dad's like on the phone, like freaking out, yelling at people every day. My mom's crying all the time. And I'm just like, what's going on?
That's an immense amount of stress for a kid as well. Fucking immense. So, dude, like, I know we spoke before about it briefly around the candy that you used to get. Like, you do the flyer in, you get a piece of candy. Flyer in, you get a piece of candy. Like, and I know that your background was a transformation physically as well as emotionally and the rest of it. But do you want to dive into kind of how you became, because no one would know looking at you now that you were a fat kid, right? Nobody would know. And people don't. It's like that face value thing. People see us as we are and assume that we've been that way forever unless we tell them something different, unless we tell them about excuses. So do you want to just dive into that, like becoming a fat kid, and then how you then changed when you find that defining moment for fitness becoming a part of your identity, man?
So I was semi-athletic as a kid, right? Played sports, and my dad owned a pizza shop, right? So just, dude, you know, you're I don't know how years old, and you know how to make pizza, and you're in a pizza shop every day. What do you think I did? I ate pizza every day. So I got pretty big, and you know, I was just always, you know, a softer, chubbier kid. I mean, I wouldn't say I was like super obese, but I got picked on. You know, I got picked on and made fun of my man boobs and stuff like that, which I've turned into like muscle now. But no, as an early age, I mean, you know, I just got picked on, and you know, I wanted to do something about it, but I really never did for the longest time. Even when I was in high school, my freshman year, I used comedy to kind of get away from the fact that I was getting bullied on all the time. Right. I was an extremely smart kid growing up. My freshman year, I was in like all the, you know, AP classes and like higher up, like smarter classes with juniors and seniors. And, you know, I was that kid that they would just pick on, you know, because of my weight, because of things. And there was times where I would just be put in trash cans, even in high school, you know, and it's funny. And I just would go along with it because it's not worth, you know, I was like, oh, you guys are funny. Like, this is cool. But
was this at the time as your dad was going through the bankruptcy?
No, this is kind of later. I mean, this is, you know, more junior year, or sorry, junior high, early high school.
Gotcha.
When that started happening. And around this time, and I think I told you, we kind of briefly talked about it, is right when my mom was getting into health and fitness as well. My parents were always kind of people that kind of worked out, but probably junior high towards high school, my mom got really into finding, I don't know if it's a midlife crisis, but God love her. But she actually decided to do a bodybuilding contest, and watching my mom's transformation and her dedication and how much it empowered her to have control of her life and her fitness and her health really was like a defining moment for me, kind of that I needed to get my stuff together and take back control of my life and how much of an impact it had on her. You know, if you can take care of your health, your body, like your mind and your emotions and everything else comes along with that. But if I wasn't taking care of myself and my body and was treating it like crap, then everything else was going to be crap. So watching her journey of, okay, like I'm going to do this was kind of a defining moment of me taking back control of my health. And ultimately, like, is a big reason of literally why I'm here today. Because I would have never have thought health and fitness without seeing my mom kind of go through that journey and that story, and seeing her drive and motivation and her love for it and how much it had an impact for her.
It's the external things that we see, and as just as much as it is the internal conversations we have and the internal thoughts we have, but it is for a lot of people, it's external, isn't it? We see something, or we watch something, or even to like bring it right up to today, where we see fitness coaches posting content, and they're consistent with posting content. They may document their journey of health and fitness, and it draws people in to that point where they're ready to take a fucking stand and change something in their life. So, dude, that's like, yeah, that's huge. Is your mum still into health and fitness now?
Yes and no. She's had some severe injuries, partly from random things, and then partly from lifting. So she doesn't really do as much as she did in the past. She kind of just is your typical, like, just goes.
Bodybuilding's a big commitment. It's a big old commitment.
She's out of that. She did like 2 or 3 shows, and then kind of like phased out. And it's still an extreme passion for her, but because of her injuries and things that she's had go on, that she really can't do those things anymore.
What was the biggest thing you found that you learned or that you took away from watching your mum firsthand go through that fitness journey that helped hers?
Really, it was about the self-discipline, right? Of having a goal and doing whatever it took to reach that goal. Like, she was so passionate about doing this that it just blew my mind to see an idea or see a goal, right? And see my mom go through the whole journey and see it out, right? Because a lot of times in life, we don't see people actually on an early age, like, be like, I'm going to do this, and then they actually do it, right? We don't necessarily see that in an early age. We just see people live life. But actually, like, seeing a person who's a role model in your life go, I'm going to do this, and watching her, like, from where she started to literally stepping on stage and doing it, and watching her journey and dedication to her workouts and her eating and all that, was like, wow, that's empowering to watch somebody that is super close to me want something so badly and just take massive action in doing it.
It's hugely fucking empowering. So you reach this point where you kind of like see your mum go through this transformation, and you decide that, you know, it's time to make a change. Like, I'm gonna change something. I'm gonna empower myself, because, you know, it's good that we've got other people around us to initially empower us to make the decision. But what keeps us in the game, what keeps us consistent when the fucking days get tough, is our own empowerment, right? So for you, as someone who's like seen your mum go through this journey, and then you step into this, you know, you start to take steps towards this new identity, which is, I'm gonna get rid of the man boobs, and I'm gonna start chiseling out. I'm gonna do chest every day. So I'm gonna start getting rid of the man boobs, and I'm gonna start carving a physique. So what was the reason behind it for you? The internal reason?
I kind of dabbled. I mean, I won't lie. Like I said, watching my mom definitely inspired me, but the reason that I didn't stick with it, watching my mom, is, again, the internal motivation wasn't always there. So, like, I would dabble in it for a couple of years, but really it wasn't until, like, I'm talking later in life, was like my senior year of college, where we were talking about this earlier about the education system, and literally just everything was going wrong for me. I had just finished college. I had a degree in a couple different things, and really couldn't find a job. The job that I was working for actually went bankrupt. Weird. So they fired me. I lost my job. I couldn't afford my rent, so I had to move back in with my parents. And my girlfriend left me and moved back to New York. And everything was just kind of like hitting rock bottom for me at this time. And like, health and fitness was the one thing that like kept me sane and kept me motivated and kept driving me, because it was something that was a goal that I was trying to achieve every day. Even though everything else in my life was complete chaos, right? I still had fitness. And fitness is like the thing that really has made me where I am today, has taught me everything. It's just so empowering, and people don't understand that it's so much more than just looking good. It's exercise. It teaches you so much, and people just don't understand the value. And like I said, my senior year of college, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I have no money. I'm living with my parents. My girlfriend left me. Woe is me. I can, whatever. And it was actually through health and fitness that I got a job in the health and fitness industry that literally has been the path that has literally led me here today. It's a crazy journey, but like, me getting my first job in health and fitness was like literally what's led me to this phone call with you.
Because it grounds you, doesn't it? Health and fitness. It's one of the, exactly, man. I'm glad you used that fucking word. It's like every time in my life that I have reached this point of either rock bottom, or just where you can see things start to fall apart around you, you know, where you just don't feel yourself, and your habits are starting to go to shit, your behavior's starting to go to shit, and it just, trickles over into other things. So even when I had a job, I used to drive a van for a living way before I became an entrepreneur. But I mean, even then, like I'd do these long ass hours and I wouldn't get, and like getting to the gym was like the focal point of my day. And it just then enabled me to do other things better. Like it grounded me completely, and it gave me my thoughts back and control over myself. Like that time when you're in the gym, we've all experienced this. When you're in the gym and you're in your zone, you feel just so in control of your life. Like, I know it's going to sound cliche as fuck and a bit weird, but when I'm training and my mind is connected to my muscle and I am taking myself for a workout, I am solely in control. So it doesn't matter what's happening around me. Like my life could be falling apart. When I'm in the gym, I'm there and it grounds me. So I'm really glad that you brought that into this conversation, bro. Massively.
100%. And it's crazy because people don't realize like the discipline that it takes to get results when it comes to working out is so similar to being an entrepreneur. Like, for example, I talk a lot of my clients about this that track their food, right? Like my clients that are personal trainers that track their food on MyFitnessPal. I'm like, you have to understand, if you have the discipline to track your food because you want a specific result, this is no different than your business, right? It's numbers. So are you tracking the numbers in your business just like you are with your food? Like, why do you track your food, but you're not going to track the numbers in your business? And they're like, you're right. Right.
Dude, like I had a conversation. Yeah. How you do
How
one thing is how you do all things. I was having a conversation with someone, this was like yesterday, I think. And I was talking about numbers, metrics. And this is someone who, again, I know has competed in the past. And I actually said, like, so how many new connections have you brought into your business, on your online business this month? Like, how many people have you genuinely sat and calculated how many conversations have you had that are in the, like, where you're engaged and you're actually talking to this person, this prospect or this lead? How many people are new to your funnel? Couldn't tell me. And it's just one of those things that backs up what you said. Like, you're fine to track macros and you're fine to track your workouts and to log your book and everything like that. But you're now transitioning that into business, and you'll see your results because you need that specific result. You'll see that all of the results happen faster for you. Like, you need to know what's coming in. You need to know that. So, dude, that's such a fucking great point.
They're like, what? I'm like, yeah. What? I'm like, why don't you just intuitively eat? They're like, well, because I need to know what I'm doing. I'm like, are we having the same conversation? Like, go, don't track your food for 2 weeks and don't tell me that you don't freak out, right?
Yeah.
You should have the same feeling in your business. Yeah. I'm like, killing me.
Amazing. So at this point then you found that like fitness was like the anchor, like Perry said, that the anchor that enabled you to kind of develop and get better in other areas. And when you step into the fitness industry, what was that job initially? You said that you got this job. What was the job initially?
I was working as a part-time trainer under somebody that my mom had trained with. And then I was also running a nutrition store. So I got a job from a friend in a nutrition store. And that's where I kind of really got a really passion for helping people, right? These people would come into the store and they're like, I have these problems. Like, can you help me? And one of the things the reasons why I did so well at that store was my passion to help people beyond just products and stuff and things like that. Really having deep conversations with them, talking about their nutrition, talking about things like that really helped me do so well. And that was where I was at for a while until I got recruited by a franchise that, again, a nutrition franchise, while I was doing personal training as well. So within like a 2-3 year time period, I didn't have a job, to now I'm running, I'm an area manager of this franchise and also personal training and having, this opportunity to create the life that I wanted to.
Wow. Imagine if you just never... Well, it's like a snowball, isn't it? So imagine if your mum just never, ever competed.
100%.
Wow. Fucking, that's
right?
mind-blowing, dude.
It's crazy to think about, like, you joke about things like, I don't know, that movie, The Butterfly Effect or whatever, but the little things that you do or people do in your life has such an impact that you just don't think about. So, perfect example, I live in Santa Barbara. I took an opportunity, that company that I was an area manager for, gave me a call one day and said, Will, we want you to be in Santa Barbara. And I was like, oh, that's cool. That sounds great. Like, I'm from Ohio. which is Midwest, like people just get married and have babies. And they're like, Will, we want you on a plane tomorrow. And I laughed and they're like, no, either you're going to be on this plane or we're going to pass this opportunity to somebody else. So literally here I am, an area manager of this store, still doing personal training. And I left. Like I went home that day and said, hey guys, I'm moving to Santa Barbara. And of course my parents laughed and I go, no, I'm moving to Santa Barbara.
Wow.
And they're like, you're kidding. And I just packed up a suitcase. That was it. Because I didn't have time to do anything else. And I got on the plane and I've been here for 7 years.
How did you feel to make that change?
What was that?
How did you feel when you knew that you're going to be making a change within 24 hours?
It's one of those things that if you had the opportunity, it's an opportunity of a lifetime, right? That you either take it or you don't. And I didn't want to regret not doing it, right? Because deep down, I always knew, like, if things don't work out, like, my parents will be supportive and I can always tuck my tail between my legs and be like, this didn't work out and move back home with my parents, which I wasn't going to do. But it was like, I already know what my life is going to look like if I stay here. I have no clue what's going to happen if I move to Santa Barbara with a suitcase and take over this failing business, but let's give it a go.
Your excitement for opportunity overcame the fear of unknown for you, man. That's essentially what's happened. And I think that's so relevant to probably a lot of people that are in different stages as well. People that may be in a job right now that aren't taking the opportunity to become a personal trainer, or the people that are a PT right now that aren't taking the opportunity to become an online coach. So what advice would you give to those people that are in that position that you've experienced in your story? What advice would you give to them?
Just do it. I mean, I know that's so cliche, but that's it. Is literally, if you want something bad enough, there should be no reason you don't at least try. Because the worst thing is that you look back, and I know a lot of people say this, but it's so true. The worst thing that you can do is have regret. 3 years, 5 years, 8 years, 10 years down the road of, okay, what if I would have done this thing, right? What if I would have put everything I had into making this successful, right? Especially in the entrepreneurial world. If I put half as much time as I do into my job working for Bob to try to impress him to make an extra $5,000 a year, maybe if I put that time and effort, those extra hours, those OT, blood, sweat, and tears into my business, there's no reason it shouldn't be successful. But for some reason, and this really gets me fired up, is people don't see it like that, right? They don't. I'm like, how do you want this raise, right, of this job that you hate, yet you aren't willing to go all in on your business that is ultimately what you want to, like, it just, I don't get it, and it blows my mind. Right? There's still this like confusion, and I think it comes for safety, right? The opportunity for them is there, but it's so much easier to play it safe because maybe you don't believe in yourself. Maybe things have happened in the past, whatever it is. But if you continue to live like that, then you're never going to create those opportunities that you want for yourself.
But this is the beautiful thing about storytelling, is that you get to at any point rewrite it or change the chapter. Like, it's not set in stone. The story that you're living currently, right now, as a fucking human being at this very second listening to this, does not have to, right fucking now, does not have to be the person that you are tomorrow, because you can change the story. You can just write another chapter. Like, okay, I'm going to fucking write the next chapter of my story now. And it includes me being a boss of myself and fucking dominating in this industry or dominating this niche. You can do that.
Yep.
People did it.
That's it. But I think, a lot of people, they're looking for the magic. They're looking for that strategy, aren't they? They're looking for the strategy. They're looking, which again adds to that safety, because they feel like they need strategy before they can make that move. Which again goes back to that safety net, goes back to self-confidence. But it does come down to making that decision to fucking do it. And then once you're doing it, then you can figure the rest out while you're doing it in the process. Yeah. Right? Figure out as you go along.
I think what's tough about this industry as an entrepreneur is there's this weird I don't know if dichotomy is the right word, but of people that want to make like 6 figures, right? Or $10,000 a month, yet aren't willing to do the work to make it happen, right? Again, it's like, oh, well, I didn't make $10,000 a month in 60 days. You're like, okay, what job are you even going to make close to that in 60 days? You're making like 3,000 at your job right now, and you want to make $10,000 in 30 days, and you've never done anything. Like, help me understand what,
True.
like, it just blows my mind. I'm just like, do the work. Like, if things aren't working, figure out why they're not working, but you have to show up every day, right? You talk about your story and you have to talk about things, but you have to show up every day. You can't show up when you want to, right? If you want to create this dream business for yourself, for your family, for your future, you have to show up every day and you have to be all in. Otherwise, nothing's going to it's not going to work.
I posted yesterday on Facebook saying, I get the question often, Matt, how do I build and then insert amount of figure in my business? And the answer to that is what you just said. Show up every fucking day and do the work every day. Like, it's true. And there may be times, like I'm sure there was for you, and we'll dive into that actually. So you make this transition, you make this decision, you like, I'm in, I'm doing this. Like, you can't be more in than on a plane. Like, already
with a suitcase.
That's
and my roommate's like, dude, you got to pay rent next week. And I'm like, yeah, I'll figure it out. He's like, dude, that's not cool.
I love that. So you can't be more in than that. Like, that's as all in as you get. When you got there, and obviously was it a success for you? Was that transition then a successful transition into what you were doing, and did it work?
Yes and no. They gave me a failing business and they said, make it work. So it was a franchise that an older person thought that they could buy this business and it would just turn cash, and that wasn't the case. So what had happened is me and another investor ended up buying the store out. And I mean, this was a failing store, and I turned it around really quickly, actually, from being completely failing to within a year, having the best year to year in the entire company, having the best customer retention. I mean, like, tons of awards. And then we actually ended up buying 2 other stores, one in Colorado and one in Nebraska. But long story short, I knew that's not what I wanted to do. Right. So I was still personal training at the time. And my personal training business was going really well, like really successful. And this is like 5-6 years ago when Facebook ads and things like that were like the new thing. So what had happened was I was having a lot of success in my business, became the top personal trainer in Santa Barbara within a year and a half, with never just moving there, had this business. But what had happened was ultimately I had to come to a decision of, do I want my rest of my life to be in this store running this business, or do I want to continue doing personal training and expand on that? And so it came to a decision that I ended up closing this store in Santa Barbara. I had some disagreements, long story short. We sold the 2 other stores, and I just went all in on training, right? And was training full time, was doing really well. Again, the power of marketing, was able to go from a no-name trainer to Santa Barbara's #1 trainer within a year.
Wow. Dude, so sick.
Yeah.
Yep. Crazy.
Yeah, dude, honestly, it's like, this is the thing. People need to listen to this story because this is real. This is one of the reasons we did Your Fit Story TV. It wasn't to share content. Yeah, there's fucking loads of it. You want information, content, cool. Good, fucking Google. Use Google. Yeah. There's fucking loads of it.
Can you write me a meal plan?
Yeah, Google can do a lot for you, but what it can't do is share real fucking stories. And that's the thing. Like, we wanted to do this because people need to listen to this now at whatever point of their journey they're in, and just know that at one point you was like a relatively chubby fat kid who fitness wasn't a thing for you. Like, it wasn't a thing. So we wanted, and then at another point, like, you know, your people's business fails. And this is the thing. We want to really share the truth of it all. And the truth is people's stories. Like, people need to listen to this and really, really fucking know that it is possible for them to just write their story the way they want, just like you did, just like other fitness professionals have, just like most of the people in the world that have reached a certain level of where they wanted to get to. So this is why I think it's so valuable, man. At this stage, like, where you become the top, like the #1, right, Santa Barbara personal trainer, what then that's obviously a level of success. Yeah.
Yep.
Did it stay like that before you made the transition to do what you do next, or did you experience like a cataclysmic clusterfuck that just?
Yeah, unfortunately, I guess for the story's sake, there's not like a crazy like shit hit rock bottom. But what had happened was I reached a point where I was getting a lot of people inquiring about what I was doing. Right? Okay, well, here you are like having this success. What are you doing? And it came to an option of, do I want to open a gym? Which I had no interest of doing. Everybody's like, I want to open a gym. I'm like, that doesn't interest me. Or there was an opportunity for me to share my knowledge and my expertise of what made me successful, replicate it, and help other fitness professionals, right? If I could have such success in short amount of time, why can't I apply the same knowledge and expertise into my marketing, my sales, and everything else I was doing for other fitness professionals in other states? So what had ended up happening is, I found 3 to 5 friends who were fitness trainers and literally got amazing results for them. And that's kind of where the whole thing started. I was like, holy crap. Like, if I can do this for them and they can do this, like, why can't I continue doing this? And that was like the whole 5 years ago, right? I'm like, oh my gosh, like, this is awesome. Like, I can help people that in Ohio or Texas or Florida or United Kingdom or Australia. Like, I went to Australia a couple of weeks ago and got to visit a client, somebody that I would have never met or physically spoke with in my entire life. And 2-3 weeks ago, I went to Australia and I hung out with a client. Like, that's crazy.
Nice.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's like kind of what happened was like, I was like, I want to share my expertise and my knowledge and what I do that I've had success with other people. Because the worst thing that happens is seeing personal trainers who are so passionate and eager and hungry end up having to give that up and work a 9 to 5.
Now, something I want to touch on is that you are, like you said, this is actually becoming a reoccurring pattern. We've asked a couple of the other interviews, people have said similar things. I basically found some friends that were doing PTing and coaching, and I just basically used them to see if my method worked. And then then I started to charge for it and things. Yep. So I'm just trying to relate this to a personal trainer or a online coach right now who wants to like get online with his business or wants to start helping people, but is in a place where maybe similar to where you were, where you weren't 100% confident in the method. Yep. You had to kind of test it and bring a couple people in free of charge to kind of like get some confidence in it. So what advice would you give to someone who is in that space now, but as a personal trainer, as a coach, that's like, okay, I want to help people, but bit of a blocker?
It's a great question. I would just tell people to find those 6 to 10 people. I mean, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Instagram, whether it's LinkedIn, whatever it is, find 6 to 10 people who are going to be dedicated, right? And you might have to spend a little bit of time to make sure these people are serious, because the worst thing that happens, and this is something that I preach about in my coaching pretty often, is the difficulty with doing things for free all the time is a lot of times people don't value free, right? So if you are going to find those 6 to 10 people, they need to be people that are super dedicated, that 110% are going to do it. Otherwise, I'm very against usually doing like a free thing, because people just don't value free. They don't. And it's unfortunate. But if that's the case, there's nothing stopping you from going on Instagram, going on Facebook and saying, listen, I'm doing like a beta program. I need 6 to 10 people. I'm going to charge 70% less than I normally charge, or 80%. Get those people massive results, get some amazing testimonials, get some amazing stories, and leverage that. Like, people complicate it. They're like, oh, I can't find people. No, they don't value you. You don't have enough testimonials. You don't have results, and people don't understand what you do. Like, there's nothing that is stopping you from going on Facebook right now saying, I need 6 to 10 people, charging, I don't know, let's say you charge $200, super cheap, $200, right? 10 people. That's $2,000 that you just made. What? You just made $2,000. And all you had to go is find 10 people in the entire world who pay you
Sorry, man. I was just going to say, people got a free strategy there.
But yeah, do you think ego is a part of it?
What do you
Ego
mean?
when it comes to maybe working for free initially. Ego when it comes to maybe charging really low because they're like, I know I should be charging more in that beginning stage.
People don't charge more partly for two reasons in my belief. One is they don't feel that they have enough results, right? Or they don't have anything built yet. The other thing is they don't value or understand what they actually do. The problem in the world that I work in, and same with you guys with the online coaching, is people are so used to seeing all these low, like $47 things or $97 things that they think that that's the only thing they can do. What they don't understand is the word coaching, which is what you're doing. You're essentially creating a new identity for somebody, getting them from point A to point B. That's what coaching is. And the problem is everybody's like, well, you know, I can't sell my online coaching for more than $100 or $200 when I have clients that are charging $3,000 because you don't understand what coaching is. It's the ability to get somebody from A to B, not give them meal plans, not give them workouts, right? Again, Google can do that, right? Google can give somebody meal plans, somebody workouts, but it's all the other things that go into being a coach, right? Just like some of the trainers face-to-face, there's a lot of personal things that you talk about with your clients that have nothing to do with meal plans or workouts, right? There's other struggles and other mindset issues and other obstacles that they need to overcome to get them from point A to point B.
Yeah, it's power.
That's it. So like, and I'm sure you guys get it all the time. Everybody's like, well, what do I put in a program to charge a client $1,000? Nothing. It's not about the features. I don't like, what does the features have to do with it? Like features are almost overwhelming to somebody, right? If I can get you to A to C, just ABC versus A to A, B, C, D, E, F, C, K, R, whatever, and then over here, which one are you going to pick? That's it.
And that's a big takeaway actually, because it's all about it's on the same topic. It's all about marketing the benefits, not the features. You know, the features is going to get you so far, but look, at the end of the day, like there's actually if you start to market based on your features of your program, there's always going to be someone else that's doing something like giving an extra ebook or you know, giving an extra workout, or like there's always going to be someone else that's got more in their program than you. But if you market from the point of view of this is the results and this is the benefits that you get when you work with me as your coach, it 10 times fucking ROIs your marketing efforts.
Well, I think the most important thing too is just like you guys are doing, it's about your story, right? It's about your client's journey and their story working with you. Because the more relatable a client is to somebody else, the more inclined somebody's going to sign up to work with you, because they understand Susie's journey about where she was mentally, physically, emotionally to the person she is now. That is 10 times more impactful if you share Susie's story than just posting, hey, Susie lost 10 pounds. Congratulations. I don't care that Susie lost. I want to know that Susie is a mom. Susie has 2 kids. Susie's got a husband. Susie has dealt with eating disorders. Susie has dealt with this. And this is Susie today.
Dude,
that's so much more like,
one of the things that we do inside the academy is actually we have this I guess you could call it a template, and what it is we see so many fitness coaches that are posting client spotlights, like client wins, and they're doing it, we know they're doing it in the wrong way, because this has just been backed up by what you've said. If you share a client spotlight and you're like, hey, look at this client, lost 25 pounds in this amount of time and this is what they did, great, but actually tell a story about that person's journey. Tell a story about what it was like you, first off, why they connected with you, what it was that then their journey was at the very beginning, how they developed, the transformation they experienced. Like, go into the story about how they got those results. And again, your marketing efforts are just returned massively in that way. So 100%. Yeah, man, mate, you backed it. Fucking A.
That's it. I did a post and I was like, listen, don't help your clients lose weight. Help them rewrite their story. Because that's what it's about at the end of the day, right? I remember when I used to take on clients, I was like, okay, cool. So you want to lose 20 pounds or you want to lose X amount. And then I used to base it around that. But I was like, but if you help them rewrite their story, they're going to lose that weight. They're going to put on that weight. they're going to do it inevitably because that's part of their story. This is powerful. I'm glad we brought that up because I think it's a huge boom, like you just said there, to a lot of people that's going to be watching this. And if they can literally implement that into their current and future clients, when you bring them on, don't help them achieve their weight loss or their weight gain goal, whatever it is, help them rewrite their story, you're going to get 10 times the result.
100%. People are just focused on like weight loss is it's just a number, right? It's just a number, and that has no impact on somebody's life. But if you can help, Brett, Tom, whatever, be able to be in better shape, that he has a better relationship with his wife and his kids. I mean, come on, that's not even close. That's
huge.
the difference.
Mate, fucking A. I'm about to set fire to my house because this has been absolute insane.
Right.
Dude, we actually ask this question in literally every single episode. And I think it's going to be something that we stick to asking because it's just such it's actually a fundamental part of personal branding as well, which is the thing that you stand for and against. And, me and Perry have a very strong stance on what it is that we stand for. And that's just literally people that are being a little bitch, that are stuck in their story. People that aren't willing to just move on and just become the hero and fucking tie up the shoelaces and go, I'm going this direction. That's where I was, but I'm going to now be this person. Like, we just fucking dislike that because everyone has the ability to change their story. And if someone tells me otherwise, I'll say, well, look, motherfucker, look what I fucking gone through. Look what some of these other people have got. Look at Oprah Winfrey. Look at
She
Oprah
was down the street from me,
Winfrey.
by the way.
Well, Oprah. No way.
Yeah.
Jeez,
welcome to Santa Barbara, man.
Oh, dude, you got to get her on this episode, on an episode.
If I can get through her 20 gates.
Yeah. So, like, everyone's been through a lot. Everyone's had like a tough time and stuff, and that's the point. Like, you can, like, if it was that fucking, if it was that bad, then we would still be going, this is the reason why I don't have this in my life, and this is the reason why I'm not doing this, because I'd be able to play on that. Mate, I have more warrant than most people to play on my story and make people feel sorry for me. I do. This is fucking truth. I could sit here all day and say, hey, do you know what? You should look at what I went through. Oh, give me a pillow. Like, come on. Just like, I could do that. And most people do, and they do it too much. When you want to become a leader and you want to step up and be a fucking hero and go out there and create impact in people's lives, it starts with you. You need to be the person that says, okay, I'm making a change. I'm going to make a difference. And before I go out there and make a difference, I've got to step up. So our real, the real thing that gets us fired up is people that stay stuck in their story as the victim. So what does the thing that you stand for against look like, man?
Man, that's pretty much spot on. I mean, you really nailed it. I mean, that's it. You really have two options. I mean, you can play the pity card, you can play the woe is me, but that's not going to benefit you. And I've done that myself plenty of times, is woe is me. I can play this pity party, but nobody cares at the end of the day that you need to write your story the way that you want to, and you need to make a decision and a stand that day. Because the longer you stay in that negative mindset, the longer you're going to go down this downward spiral. So my thing that I stand against more than anything is, again, the choices are up to you. What you do with them it's your decision. What you want to do in life, the business that you want to have, the career that you want to have is ultimately up to you. And if you decide to do that or not, no matter what coach, what mentor, what person, what marketing, whatever, it doesn't matter, because you have to want it more than somebody wants it for you. And what people need to understand is the beauty of the life we live in now is that if you really want to be successful as a personal trainer, as an online trainer, whatever it is, that you need, this is the thing that bothers me the most, to stop treating it like a hobby and actually treat it like a business. Right? You need to treat it like a business. What business can you literally take this laptop, right? Meet somebody I live in California, in Texas, who wants to work with you, who's willing to pay you $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 without having to pay rent, without having to pay maybe employees, without all these other things, right? Geez, if I wanted to open a gym in Santa Barbara, it'd cost me $12,000 a month just in rent. Right? Yeah. You have everything at your disposal to create the life, the business that you want to, but the choice is yours, that you need to go all in and stop dabbling on a hobby and actually create a business that allows you to create the freedom, the time, the impact that you want. Like,
Oh, fucking love that, man.
Yeah, that was banging.
I love that.
I'm a big fan of that. So, Will, looking sort of out into the future, next 5 to 10 years, what does it look like for you?
That's a great question, man. That is a great question. Continuing to do what I love, you know, whether I'm always going to be in the health and fitness industry some way or another. Like, I don't ever see myself going out of it. My goal is to continue helping as many, you know, online coaches, fitness professionals, as many as possible, hundreds, thousands, create, you know, more impact, create more, you know, time, and ultimately have freedom. You know, again, there's never been a time in history that has allowed us to create so much freedom in our life from a financial standpoint, from a time standpoint, that I'm going to just continue sharing my journey and being able to just try to have as much impact as I can on as many people as I can. You know, sharing my story, sharing everything that I can to inspire that one person that watches this video, right? Watches this, that decides, holy shit, these guys are exactly right. I'm going to do something. And that's why I do what I do. And same with you guys. It's to have that. I don't care if it's one person. I don't care if it's 1,000 people. It's being able to tell your story, your message, to get somebody to take action that will forever have an impact on their life.
Mm. Dude, I actually posted but first off, don't fucking doubt that you're going to go away and do all of that stuff, man, because
sure.
like, we've only been connected a short period of time, but, you know, mate, the drive that I see from you is fucking phenomenal and inspiring. So I've no doubt that you're going to go out there and do all that stuff, bro. Straight hustler. And, you know, one of the things that you just said there was about whether it helps one person or 50 people or 1,000 people. Like, that's why we do it, right? It's to create change in someone's life. And I was actually, again, this is a conversation I was having the other day. Someone said to me, a piece of content, look, I don't really get any engagement. Barely no one likes my stuff. And I said, listen, and they didn't want to continue to post because of that. And I said, listen, here's the thing. Like, especially in the beginning stages, you're going to struggle with gaining traction. It's hard. Like, the first advice I would give you, share your fucking story, right? And if you want to do that effectively, come to us and we'll help you build it out. But at the beginning stages, you're going to struggle with that. And even when you're a little bit experienced, you're probably still going to struggle with it. It's a fucking hard game out there today on social media. You're competing with people's friends and families, funny memes, like other influencers that are killing it. Like, it's a hard fucking game.
Yeah.
But I said, what you've got to do, this wraps back up to the beginning of the show. You've got to show up daily, because it might be that the one person who needed to see that content that day, you shifted something in them. And if you just approach it from that angle, that, okay, I'm going to look, I may not be getting as many likes as James Smith. I may not be getting as many likes as some of these other guys. But if I'm here to do what this is that I'm called to do, which is help people and create impact and drive change, what is that one person that I need to do? That one fucking person.
Yep. My belief is that if you have an ability to have an impact on somebody's life for the better, and you're not because of something, then you're being selfish.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. There you go, guys. Stop being selfish.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, you know, all these fears and insecurities, if you truly believe that you can have an impact and help somebody's life, like, what are you scared of? Right? Like, I don't get it. Like,
yeah. And the thing is that people listening that may be feeling that, like, that all they've got to do is listen to this episode over again, because you know, like, and any of these episodes, because this is really proof that you can write your story and you can go in the direction of the life that you want to create. It's proof.
Do it today. Do it now. Just take massive action.
Yeah, exactly. And I think when it comes to people, the thought of somebody sharing their story or showing up online, I think that what you guys need to remember listening, because I went through exactly the same thing as well, is that the potential impact that you can create should far outweigh the fear of the rejection or whatever fear that you're going to have. Like, that should be like, if you want a seesaw, that should be way up here and the other one's way down here. So you just need to do it. Like, with the very first time I was sharing my video of sexual abuse, obviously my fear was sky high. I'm like, but this is going to help one person who's going through it or been through it, to help them find the light out of that darkness. What I am being selfish by keeping it within me, by being too scared to do so. So yeah, so hopefully if everybody listening, if you haven't shared your story yet and you're scared because of whatever reason it is, please, because you can help one person and that's going to trump everything that's holding you back.
Yeah, 1,000,000,000%. So Will, where can people find you, man? If they just listen to this episode and they're super inspired and they want to reach out, where can they do that, man? What's the best place to catch you?
So 2 different things. One, I would just friend request me on Facebook. I mean, let's chat. I mean, I love just to have conversations with people. I'm not going to drive you to some website so you see stuff. I'd rather have a real conversation with you. So I would just say check out my Facebook profile. It's just Will Nelson. I got some cheesy picture of me in the nice white button up. Shoot me a friend request. Tell me you watched this video. Tell me you loved it, hopefully, right? I'm just kidding. And then check me out on Instagram too. I think my Instagram handle is just Will Nelson _fit coach. But just shoot me a message. I mean, I'm a super cool guy that just likes to talk to people and have conversations. That I'm not going to send you some weird, I don't know, page or website or anything. Just find me on Facebook.
Awesome. Yeah, like come into my funnel.
Yeah.
Enter my funnel. Yeah.
The 3 secrets to making $100,000 a month. You're like,
yeah, like send the blueprint immediately. As soon as someone sends you a message, just press send. Send them.
Yeah, press send.
But no, man, for real, dude, this has been absolutely a lit episode, dude. I'm just honestly honored to have you on the show as well, dude. So thank you so much from me, mate.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. This has been fire.
Epic. Can't wait to get this episode out, dude. Which will be dropping in around 4 to 5 weeks. Okay, so I know it's a bit of a wait, but when it does, guys, it's going to be worth the wait. And now it's going to kind of weird. It's like Inception that you're going to hear that at the end of this episode 5 weeks from now when okay, strange. Yeah. But guys, this has been Your Fit Story TV, and our mission is to provide health and fitness coaches that are trying to build and scale their business with valuable insights into how others have done it, just like Will. So if you have been inspired by this, if you have found benefit in this episode, if you have, if you found value here, then all we ask you to do is hit the subscribe button, because that's the only way you're going to get notified that there's other episodes. And of course, leave us a comment. Reach out to Will. He's a fucking top guy, great fucking coach. He's literally turning personal trainers and coaches just like yourself into top 6-figure earners. So you got to reach out to the guy. Will, thank you so much.
Big time. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Guns. Come on, let's see them.
Oh man, you putting me. Oh, I've got to go.
You can't go up against that, mate.
I've got some great quads. I mean,
there you go.
Peace. Thank you. Bye bye.
See you later, mate. Bye.